Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another day of the Some Assemblage Required Advent Calendar. Today is day 19, and we're getting down to the wire. I'm going to go ahead and open this bad boy up and see what we've got. We have a wood veneer piece that has, it looks like some plumeria. Plumeria? Yeah. Plumeria, some mountains, a sun, and some clouds. That's kind of cool looking. And we have some mixed media type stickers, similar but not the same as we've had it on other days. So every day that we've had stickers, they've been very different. These are really cool. Let's see if I can grab a little white piece of paper here so you can kind of see what they look like. So these are like ledger looking, which are really kind of neat. Very different than the ones we've had in the past. Still have words on them, and that's okay, but yeah, fun stuff. Annoy, that's funny. Like, you could actually use that to your advantage if you really wanted to. I dropped one. Okay, so those are going to be really fun to use. And let's go ahead and unearth the actual wood on here by removing the, whatchamacallit, the masking. It has a name. So we can see what color of wood this is, because MK's got several colors of wood in her shop. Ooh, that's pretty. It's kind of like a reddish color. I don't know what any of them are called, but that is really pretty though. Okay, so I'm going to set these aside, go pull some photos, and then see what I can create. I'll be back. Okay, so today is also Woodgrain and Winter, so I'm going to be using some wood grain on my layout, and it is also the Iron Crafter Challenge, which we are supposed to be using die cuts or cut files. So I've got some, I've got a tree from a cut file and a couple of die cuts. I'm going to start out with some mixed media, so I am gessoing my paper so that I can use some of the Lindy's Magicals on them. I've been playing with those a little bit here lately just to see how well I like them. Anyway, I am drying my gesso because I didn't have time for it to dry overnight. I was kind of under a rush to get my mixed media done so that I could move on to the next part. I'm using these two, Goth Goggles Gold and Tease Up Pink, and that's from the Tea and Crumpets set from Lindy's Magicals. I was actually supposed to be Mixed Media Mayhem as well, which was monochromatic, and we were supposed to use sparkle and tissue paper. I got the sparkle on there because these are sparkly magicals, but I did not get the tissue paper on there. I suppose I could have backed my photo with some tissue paper or something like that, but I didn't get it on there, so I did not include this a Mixed Media Mayhem thumbnail or links for you for that, so I apologize. Anyway, I wasn't actually sure this was even going to be really considered monochromatic, because the magicals do have more than one color in them unless you mix them up really well. I am going with like an orange and a gold, but one of the oranges has some yellow in it. Or the Pinkies Up Pink has some yellow in it, and it has some peachy color in it, and one of them has blue in it as well. So yeah, there's a lot of colors that kind of burst in there when you first put them down. And again, I am drying everything with my heat gun to just kind of speed up the whole process. And with my paper all taped down, it does a pretty good job of staying flat. So I am just using my Daisy White from Close to My Heart, which I think now is called, I don't know, maybe Whisper White or something like that, from Stampin' Up. and it's just taped down, and then you saw me put the gesso down. But if you let everything dry on the board, it tends to keep it pretty flat, which is really nice because you know, I don't mind warped paper here and there, but I really didn't want this one to be warped because in the back of my mind, I think I'm going to be tearing it. And once it's warped, it's really hard to kind of glue it down when you like tear it or take it apart because nothing lays flat to glue it. So I'm doing my best to keep it as flat as possible. Another way to alleviate that would be to use like the Vicky Bouton foundations paper, or maybe some watercolor paper or something like that, things that don't tend to warp as easily. And the Daisy White does a really good job of taking mixed media, better than a lot of the other white cardstocks. But when you're really kind of going with a little bit of playtime, the gesso really does help, because otherwise it just absorbs right into the paper. So you can see here I'm being very, I guess stingy is the right word, stingy with how much powder I'm using, because this powder has a lot of pigment in it. I really like the way that it looks though, and I think it's really pretty. I wasn't really sure about the golds. I think these golds, this gold color must be an older color or something like that, because it's not available in the little shaker thing. You can buy those shakers individually, not individually. I think in I want to say a 5-pack. You can buy them without any powder in them, and then you can put the powder in them. So you can transfer your powders over if you have the old style, or if you have some other kind of powder that you want. It would be a good place to get the shakers. So I went to my colored, or not colored, but patterned paper. This paper was actually on the top of the stack of my orange papers for whatever reason. And it's not, you know, as you can see there, it's not a solid orange. It's got pinks in it. It's got some blues in it as well. So like I said, I'm not sure that this even qualifies as monochromatic, but when you see it at the very end, it definitely has a monochromatic vibe to it. So again, I didn't use it for a mixed media mayhem layout, since I didn't really complete all the tasks. But you know, I did 2 out of 3. So here you can see I went ahead and ripped my paper in half. I kept the outside of that pattern paper for my border, and then I wasn't really sure how much of a gap I want in between them, but my wood grain paper is going to go behind them in the gap. I am roughing up all of the edges, and I will be trimming off the outside edge, the flat edge of the 12-inch, well, slightly less than 12-inch side now, to kind of once I determine how big of a gap I want to leave in the middle there. My photo, as you can see off to the right hand side there, it's a few years old. In one of my previous jobs, the family that I worked for, it was only like 6 miles away, but it's at the top of the mountain behind me. And so when I would drive up there in the early morning, this is actually at sunrise, and there is a blanket of fog between their house and my house. So basically the fog is covering the whole city, and the sun is coming up over the mountains across the valley. So it looks really cool. It's a beautiful sight. I love when fog is like this. I actually really do love fog in general. I don't really like to drive when it's so thick you can't see, but I love when it's like hanging low in the trees or something like that. I actually recently just took a video of the fog clearing up in the daytime, and you can just see it kind of move across the sky really, actually very quickly. I don't know, it's very intriguing to me, and I like it a lot. So yeah, I guess because maybe I don't like hot weather, maybe the fog, I don't know, maybe it's just mysterious. I don't know what it is about it, but I like it. So yeah, this picture was taken for sunrise, and I thought it was really beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and document that, mostly documenting my love of the fog, not necessarily that, you know, I did write down the date and the photos from 2016 and where I was at when I took the photo. But I am going to be actually adding some more journaling probably right underneath the photo on the background paper, just about how much I do enjoy the fog and love looking at it blanketing the city, or sometimes you can see it roll over the mountains on the other side of the valley that we live on or live in, because those on the opposing side of those mountains is the ocean, so you can see the fog kind of pour in over the mountains, and it's really cool. Um, it's a, I don't know, it's just beautiful. So okay, so here's this wood grain. This is from Vicky Booten. It's one of her Christmas collections. I don't know the name of it because this is actually the only paper I have from it. And I have several sheets of it because I love that wood grain. I think it's really beautiful. I was looking for something with more of the darker gray, almost black tones in it. I didn't want the darkest areas, but I wanted a mix. So there was one piece of plank that has a darker color towards the bottom there, and then it goes into the lighter one, and that was exactly what I was looking for. Kind of mirroring what is going on in the photograph, where you've got like that light line and then the dark line, although they are reversed. But I think that looks really cool, and so that's what I decided to do. Now I have these trees. These are leftover cut file trees from 31 days of cut files. They were from a set that said outside my window, and this was the tree that was a portion of it. I think what I did was I had a couple of test cuts that I did in a size that we didn't end up using. So I think these are slightly larger than the ones that we ended up using. And so I just had them sitting here. So I am using those. I actually have a little bin of that I put all of my extra leaves in when I use my dies and stuff, because I always end up making more than I need, which is great because I don't have to go back and create more during the middle of the project. But yeah, they just get tossed into this little bin that's on my desk. And so that's what these are from. And so I just went ahead and inked them up black because I feel like the silhouette of them is really nice rather than adding green. I have no greenery in my photo or anything like that. So I thought the silhouette would be really pretty. And I love it against the orangey tones that I've got going in the background. And so yeah, that's what I am doing. And I am using the wood veneer piece. I did not use the stickers from today's Advent calendar, but I did use the wood veneer piece, and I am covering up. There's a little flower on it. To me, it looks like a plumeria. I don't know if it, I mean, I'm assuming that's what it is, but it looks more tropical. So I'm just going to cover that up with a label, which is going to, or a wordy bit, not a label, a wordy bit. And then I'm going to just create a little cluster over here. This is from the Vintage Artistry, what is this called actually? I think it's called Curators, Vintage Art, I don't know. 49 and Market Curators, basically. Curators Collection. I don't have anything from it except for this ephemera pack. So, yeah, I don't know what any of the rest of it looked like. I think it might have been out before I jumped on the 49 and Market bandwagon. I'm not really sure. But it's got some great pieces in it, and so I pulled some of the oranges out of it, and then some of the little word pieces. One says wide open spaces, which is awesome because there is actually an open space preserve back in these mountains, so that you can kind of actually probably see some of it looking in the direction of the sunrise. If I'm looking back the opposing direction, you're going to get more of the, sunset. So yeah, it's just aligned correctly for that. And then I have one that I was going to use up at the top, but I end up using the a light gray label instead, very much like the one that is underneath my wood grain piece here. And that's where I'm going to do a little bit of journaling just about where I was and all of that good stuff. You can see I actually wrote the date on the wood grain frame. That is also from the 49 and Market collection. It is their whitewashed chipboard frames. These have been out for quite a while, so I don't even know if they're available any longer or anything like that. But yeah, it is that's where those are from. So I just tucked in my black pieces. I did want to mention that these, I am using die cut pieces and not chipboard. Holy moly. It's late, you guys. Die cut pieces and a cut file piece for Iron Crafter Challenge. And I am putting all of the information for the Iron Crafter hop down below. It is a hop that Tara over at the Paper Snob runs, and there's a bunch of information with links to the rest of the people playing along, whether it's on Instagram or a YouTube playlist. You can go and check those out down below. There's also a link for Woodgrain and Winter and a link to MK's channel so that you can go check out what she's got going on. I'm not sure if she is playing along today because, oh, she should be playing along. It's an odd day, and I normally do the even and she does the odds. So yeah, she should be. So you can go and check out her channel as well. I think that is just about it, you guys. Yep, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. I apologize for my kind of messed up voiceover. I'm just doing this kind of late at night and not at my top-notch self, which seems to be like the whole month of December. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys again with another one tomorrow. So take care and have a great day. And don't forget to check out everyone else playing along. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.